All right, here we go. Permission granted, live enchanted, celebrate your soul. I'm Shane, and who cares? What I want you to take from this is your name, who you are in this world, and how you show. I didn't ask if I could curse. How you show the fuck up is the most important thing every day, everywhere you go. So I'll show you my coloring book, which I just published, #1 in Amazon, and it's called Fuck Your Fears. But we don't do that with aggression. We do that with play, and we do that with fun. So today I am showing up as the Enchantress of Alchemy. And I'm an alchemist, which means I help you turn straw into gold, just like Rumpelstiltskin. So as a child, I was extremely playful. I laughed all the time, and I was always in trouble. So if you're the kind of kid who was put to the side, put out of the classroom, or was told, you have a lot of potential, that is the trouble with systems that have been built many, many, many years ago. And it actually programs us, which you all know, that you're actually not worth it. You should just go get a job and go work for somebody else and get your Christmas tree ready and complain. And if you're sick, you might feel like you're lying when you call in sick. I see you as perfect and whole and quite enchanted because you're here and you did show the F up. And that's my first commandment of the 10 commandments of effing your fears. Why is that the most important thing is we have all these qualifications of why we can and cannot show up. And it's all BS. And one of the tools I teach is who cares? You're 10 pounds overweight. You're about to claim bankruptcy. You feel like you have too many interests. Great. Show up anyway. You feel depressed. You think you have a bum shoulder. Show up anyway. There are many people with those same exact problems, different details, that are afraid to show up, that are stuck in a 20-year marriage, that are stuck in a 15-year commitment to corporate that feels soul sucking. Guess what? They also have something to offer. And so the permission is right now, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, your permission to think that your cute little desire is not that important actually is. And you have the permission to bring it out in the world. I had one client and she corporate America, but pharmaceutical sales to be specific. And that was not her interest at all. So we were doing something. The first phase of the unconventional icon method is to ramble. It's to open up the enchanted golden doors. And she was rambling and rambling, and she started doing this Beavis and Butthead voice. And if you don't know who that is, it's kind of quirky cartoon stuff. She was like, and I was like, what is that? And she said when she was in high school, she had a jacket and all these Beavis and Butthead patches. And she's like, I don't know, whatever. Let's just focus on my coaching. Like she really took it away. And I was like, no. I actually want to know more about this Beavis and Butthead. So reluctantly, because we know each other for a while, because she can be kind of stubborn and in her own way, she started talking about Beavis and Butthead. And I was like, you seem really happy when you're doing these voices. Anyway, fast forward a month or two, we had her do a voice reel. Now she's living in California, moved from New York, and she's a voiceover actor. Is she the most successful in the world? No. But she bought herself a big studio, that you can get into. And she does voiceover acting for fun, for play, and she always wants more work. And so it's the things that we think are stupid or corny or just are ready to do something, what I call fear whiplash. It's like this gem of an idea comes up, and that's stupid. So many people are already doing it. How many times have you heard yourself say that? You know who doesn't say that? Lawyers, doctors, accountants. They don't go to school and say, oh my God, there's so many doctors already. I shouldn't be doing this. So neither should you. So today there's 3 phases of the unconventional icon method. We're only going to do one because I know this can be overwhelming, and it's called awkward alchemy. And that's actually my free gift. And if you have a short attention span, you can go there at the same time. You don't need to watch my face. It's called Shane B. Kulman / awkward alchemy. And I'm also an actor, and something that saved my life was improvisational acting. And why that saved my life was it wasn't about saying yes, it was about saying no. We are not trained on how to deal with our emotions when someone rejects us, when someone says, it's kind of stupid. You should just go do your work. No, I don't think you're good enough to do that. We don't know what to do. Our nervous system shorts. And then we say, you're right. Of course, I shouldn't do anything strange and unusual. I should go back to my job that wants to kill me early. So that voice that says no actually has a ton of wisdom. And we're going to alchemize that wisdom. And so the first part of it is get in agreement with the part of you that is the most resistant. And this is an acting exercise, but I translate it to business because guess what? We are all in one grand improvisational life, right? We didn't know what's going to happen this morning. We sort of have a plan. But then guess what? You left the water on and now you have a flood. Guess what? It's snowing and it's not supposed to be. We have all these moments that we don't know what to do with. But guess what? We do them. We're so resilient. And the idea is you have a choice in the morning. You can wake up and say, I'm so excited for the day. Or you can wake up and say, I am so anxious. And guess what? I'm going to slow down with this one. It's the same embodied experience. It's the same feeling in your body when you're nervous and anxious or you're excited. Your heart's racing. Okay, check, check. Your belly's doing something. You're kind of like, don't want to get out. You're stuck. You're physically maybe frozen. Your mind gets to decide what route you're going to choose that day. I'm anxious and I'm excited are very different choices. They're very different ways to eat your breakfast. They're very different ways to travel. But the difference is the breath. I didn't make this part up. Excitement is fear without the breath. So let's just take a moment, roll your shoulders back, relax your sphincter, and take a deep breath. Now you're in a state where you can actually look at the stuck stuff. My job here today is not to stuff information down your throat. That's kind of how school works, but I won't talk about that. This is about you actually practicing and putting into position something that can be helpful the next moment that you sit down at your computer with a great idea and then you're like, this is stupid. Let me just do my billing. This is stupid. Let me just finish my taxes. Whenever that voice comes in that says you're not responsible, you should do the other things first. You have a family. You have bills. What do you mean you're going to start a t-shirt business? What do you mean you're going to do voiceovers? Let's play with that voice. So the first part of this is to notice it. So even if you take that away, notice who is that character that is telling you you're wrong, you're ugly, you're fat, you're stupid, you're a waste of life. Don't be like that kid. Don't be multi-passionate. Pick one thing. Who is that voice? Now, jot down, or if you're working with me, we could do it together, but jot down the details of that character. Let's make up a character. So that character for me, she just came into my mind. She has red hair and it's very hairsprayed. She sat in the place and she got it done and her lips are really tight. This is the character that walks a little bit like a cowboy, but she's taller than me. And in this imagination of this voice yelling at me, I'm small. Maybe I'm a different age, but I'm small. And she looks at me and she says, where are you supposed to be? Now I have a visual on this character, which is a voice that tells me you're wrong. That's kind of my thing where I get stuck. I'm doing it wrong. Anybody resonate with that? So she's looking at me and she has her finger pointed and I have given my power to her because I'm scared. So now I can figure out as a scene. So follow me here. First, we noticed. Always the best one, right? So maybe jot that down. Then we got clear. Who is she? Who is he? Who is this person? So I witnessed who this person is. And the third one is to get curious. So if this were real life, I might say, I'm supposed to be in math room and go run there. This is obviously a school. But instead, I look at this scary big woman and I say to her, what do you want from me? And automatically I have an answer. And she says she wants me to be safe and to be in the right place. And now I see her as a sacred or some kind of protector. She doesn't want a little person running around the hall by herself. When in my mind, I was like, I'm free. But she's protecting me and she's keeping me safe. Now she's not an enemy anymore. Oh, I just got chills. And now, as I'm speaking to you, I picture her kneeling down to me and saying, where are you supposed to go? Okay, so I'm going to go over this slowly after I share it. And the last one is, how do I cast myself in this scenario with this woman that's bigger than me? Then I say to her, what do you want from me? Which means I got a little vulnerable. And she said, where are you supposed to be? Now we're facing each other. And she wants me to be safe. And ladies and gentlemen, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a business owner, guess what? There's a lot of safety that's not there. Where's your next money going to come from? What are people going to think of you? Are you going to fail? Are you going to mess this up and then have to face your family at Thanksgiving? Being an entrepreneur, being a business person is the most vulnerable thing in the world. It's the most vulnerable thing. You're like, guess what? I kind of have a degree. I have a master's degree, and when I'm nervous, I lean on that. I tried to change my name a couple times and add MS, SPED. I'm getting another master's. That's my comfort zone, teaching. Being an enchantress, well, I'm making that up as I go. And I have mentors and I pay people because I am doing things unconventionally. And guess what? That makes people uncomfortable. That makes me, in my worst moments, feel like I'm crazy. Aren't we all afraid of being crazy? Well, guess who's not crazy? The guy who made Apple, Oprah Winfrey, Louise Hay. These are people that did things a little bit different. And guess what? Wild success, alchemy. And that's what we're here for. We're here to alchemize and actually help people and care about people. And this awkward alchemy process, I put so pretty in a nice format in the Shane B. Kulman /awkward alchemy, because it's important for you to be able to do this on the fly. When someone hires you and asks you, oh, we'd love to have you come teach at our convention. It's in Las Vegas. These are the dates. We'd love to spotlight you. And the little voice in your head is like, I can't afford that, but I must do it. And the courageous voice that must come out of your mouth is, do you have a budget? Because if you don't do that, A, you might not be able to go and have access to all the people that really need you, but you also might do it and put yourself in debt, more debt than you're already in. I am not the richest person in the world, but I have figured a bunch of things out. And I have figured out how to stay confident when my back end stuff isn't really ready. And I can't pay the 10-person team, but I can pay the 2-person team. And I can alchemize the voice that says, you're going to be an author. You're going to be a one-woman show. Like, who do you think you are? I know how to deal with that in the moment. And not only deal with it, but make it interesting and maybe make it a short film. So the woman that came up in my head was an actual woman. So you don't have to be creative. If you say, I'm not an artist, I'm not multi-passionate, it doesn't matter. If you have a voice that stops you from hitting send, if you have a voice that stops you from investing in a coach or a mentor, that is the only thing you need. If you have felt bad about yourself, you can use this awkward alchemy process. Now, I'm a behaviorist. I study behavior. So when I was talking to my client who was ready to call a psychiatrist because she was in such a bad place about herself, and then we talked about the Beavis and Butthead, guess what? She was really freaking psyched. She was like, yeah, there are voice actors, cartoons. Think of all the places where there are silly voice actors everywhere. You know, people make millions of dollars. Think about Lilo and Stitch. These things are not my jam, but what is my jam is Rumpelstiltskin. But the cartoons, all the people, they all need voiceover actors. Could she make a 6-figure living? Absolutely. Would she get stuck along the way thinking this is garbage? Yes. But not having me as a coach, she won't. Because when she's stuck and she wants to put herself down, I take her down this voyage of awkward alchemy, and we get to the character who's actually there. And sometimes the character is a little gremlin that wants to make her stay in bed and thinks she's sick. And once we do that, once we do a voice, guess what? We're a little more playful, we're a little more silly, and we can actually relax. Because when we're not relaxed and our sphincter is tight, and I do a lot of work on fear, actually it sends a message to the rest of our body that travels up to our frontal lobe that goes into fight or flight. And now we're in survival mode. Guess what? And there's no shame in the game, but now we're like, I need another job for the holiday. My business will take a seat. So the people I work with right now are successful people who've been doing their business for 30, 40 years, and they're bored. And so whether you're on one extreme where you're, calling DoorDash to get a job for the holidays, or you're in your business for 30 years and you're like, maybe I should retire, but then what am I going to do? Maybe I'm going to die. So I have a woman, she's amazing. We worked on something and now she calls it, the aging icon. How brilliant is that? So she works with amazing people who are very passionate, but they had some kind of transition of like sickness. They can't leave their house. She's the liaison that keeps their stuff going. She worked with a 98-year-old woman that's an author that just published a new book. And that woman, it can't get on the phone, do meetings and all this stuff. She helped her publish it. She helped her get people to read, to do readings for it. And now it's being turned into a play. And the woman passed away in the process, but her work lives on. That's the kind of clients I work with. People who are doing big ass meaningful things in the world, or who want to and never got the chance because they were stuck doing the right thing. So the 3 phases of the unconventional icon method are in any order. Today we talked about awkward alchemy. The first one is like Rumpelstiltskin, when you're mining through the straw and finding gold. It's the I'm just looking at myself and all the blue spots. It's the enchanted golden door, like opening up the enchanted golden door. So basically looking into your consciousness and checking in with your behavior and seeing where you light up. Like if you're talking about your job and you're like, well, oh, da, 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 da. But then you're like, in high school, I had this stupid thing. Forget it. I don't want to talk about it. And then the third one is strut the stage. And that's when visibility really is the most important thing, when you are not ready. So I'm hosting a free program. It's twice a year. It's called Video Vixen. It's been happening for 7 years. And it's for those of you who can be highly distractible, like myself, multi-passionate, or who need a little bit of a soft kick in the booty to show up every day for 18 days live with prompts. So that starts December 15th. And if you watch this sometime in the future, it happens every August and every December through the new year. And it will keep on doing that. And it's called Video Vixen, but it is for men too. And it's for everyone to show up who loves personal development and who has something they're passionate to talk about. And so I guide you, but you can also do your own thing. But I guide you to use your own personality, your own self-development process as a way to showcase what you're really passionate about. And you can be at any stage of business, you can be at any stage of art, or a baby bird idea. And I teach you how to be vulnerable and bold at the same time, because that's it. If we don't do those 2 things, you're going to come off very dry, like the old paradigm of teacher, or you're going to come off like airy fairy and no one's going to know what you're talking about. There's something in between. Right? Vulnerability can be very like, woo, and boldness can be very assertive. But we're here to do both and get in agreement with all the noises and all the voices that are like noisy and perhaps keeping you safe. But their version of keeping you safe is keeping you hidden. So I'm all about visibility. I'm all about personal development. And I'm all about permission granted, live enchanted, celebrate your soul. You are the only one in this world that looks like you, that thinks like you, that smells like you, that problem solves like you. And what you think is easy, boring, annoying, of course, is the hardest thing for others. And that's where your importance steps in. I loved hearing the other speakers. At one point, I was a theater mindfulness teacher for children in prison, and the work that I'm sharing with you now worked for them. It worked for millionaires. It worked for people stuck who got my scholarships, who didn't have the money to pay. And to me, that means I'm working with humanity. I'm working in a way that works for everyone. And to me, that feels the most authentic. Of course, I have to niche in some way, but guess what? My stuff keeps changing because I am evolving. The core is the same, but my excitement is what keeps me in the game, and it keeps me from hiding in my bed with a blanket over my head. So I'm grateful for today. I've lost track of time. Let me know if I can keep going, or I feel pretty complete right now for now. And I thank you each for showing the fuck up.